Pre-pandemic, we saw about 5% of the workforce was permanently at home. And we think that will double, maybe a bit more than that, to 10 to 12% of office workers being permanently at home post-pandemic. Pre-pandemic, we think that something like 30% of office workers were allowed to work from home a day a week, perhaps a day and a half, 2 days a week. We think that will close to double to 50 to 60% post-pandemic. But that work from home element, which is at the margin, it's not a big number, that agile workforce element, which is a big number, those are the downdrafts on office sustainability and occupancy of office. We also, by the way, David, don't forget, we just had a wrenching recession. We had 3 million office workers laid off or terminated in March, April of last year. By the way, 1.8 million of those have been rehired. But the mitigant is this. If I'm an agile worker, if my boss tells me that I can work from home a day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, that doesn't necessarily mean that my employer can eliminate my space, my desk, unless they're going to say to me, you can only come in Monday and Friday, or you can only come in Tuesday and Thursday. I still need space when I get there. So we think that static, kind of same store by store office tenants will probably reduce their footprint 10%, 15%, maybe as much as 30%. But the big mitigant here, David, and we've talked about this before, is the rise of office employment, which we're already beginning to see. And that rise in office employment mitigates fully over the next 3 years that work from home piece and the agile working piece.
Just the overall addition, right, of working. But
that's
again,
right.
When I come back to this idea of companies increasing their space, Brett, again, you know, it may be different workers who are working from home or not, but the percentage will be the same. You could have arrangements where you go online and say, I'm going to be in, and you get a desk. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that your employer has a specific place for you to go every day.
Correct. And I think that, David, I think that's right. I think for most employers, look, the dynamics in the office workplace haven't really changed that much. Every employer, every company sees office rent as a fixed cost they want to reduce. So we're always trying to find ways to be more efficient with the space. We also have to have environments that our employees want to work in. We want to be able to attract people to our companies, retain them, because the work environments are attractive. What's happening here is there's going to be a larger percentage of the workforce that is told, you don't have to be here every day. And you're right, David, a lot of employers should and will think of creative ways to use their space more efficiently. And that's going to be a drag on occupancy. We think 10, 15, 20% drag on occupancy. But again, that gets mitigated in the type of economy we're looking at now for the next 2 or 3 years. That gets mitigated by the end of 2022 by new jobs. And David, the easy example to give you is this. Think about Midtown. Facebook has leased over 2 million square feet in Hudson Yards over the last 18 months. These are not people that are coming from downtown to Midtown. Some are, most aren't. These are new office workers coming into Midtown Manhattan. That 2 million feet mitigates a lot of existing users who are going to cut their space back because they can be more efficient.
That's interesting, Brett. You know, the Journal did a piece last night about what they're calling Zoom towns, towns where the influx of new workers rely heavily on digital tools. Fresno, Boise, Greensboro, North Carolina. If you're a CEO of a large company with some money to spend on real estate, would you do it at Hudson Yards or would you do it in Boise?
Great question. Facebook chose Hudson Yards. Alphabet has chosen where they are. Amazon has chosen Northern Virginia and other hubs. And other companies that have a certain demographic in their workforce can be far more creative about where they allow their employees to work. And I think, Carl, it's really very much dependent on the industry you're in. If you're in tech and you have engineers that can work anywhere and they want to move from the peninsula in San Francisco to Boise, that's probably fine. By the way, you may reduce their compensation a little bit. You don't need to pay them as much. You may want them to do that. Mm-hmm. But most services firms don't work that way. When you think about big services companies, they tend to be located in larger cities because that's where their clients are. But no doubt about it, there are a lot of people over the last year who have the ability to move and did.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.